Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Saturday afternoon, we're ready with yet another update on TR to PR pathway. This is the first timeline of Ashna under stream B, June 15 at 11:22 p.m. Now she was able to get two ADRs, and this is a common scenario, especially with last couple of days. What I have realized that in case if you have received one ADR, there is a possibility that visa officer might ask for the second one. So just be ready, or in case if you think that there are sort of documents which you were not able to submit at file submission, you can certainly raise a web form. In this case, she received the AOR on February 28th, and on the very day she was able to get the ADR for PCC. After a couple of days, I would say like 18 days later, she got the second ADR for T4 form, and IRCC has specifically asked for T4 notice of assessment, that is NOA, from like for 2019 and 2020. So make sure that you submit all the required documents, and in case if you're not able to obtain those set of documents, make write down the reason why you're not able to get it within an LOE, that is a letter of explanation. And then she was also asked to submit the medicals, although she was able to submit the old medicals. Now in this case, if you are one of them, I would recommend please submit the ADR and like the T4 and notice of assessment for 2019 and 20, also the old medicals, so that your file is all complete, you don't have to do re-medicals again. Moving on to another timeline, this is a screenshot from one of the subscriber. He has applied under stream B, applied on June 29th at 10:30 a.m. and it's mentioned that by that time 17,562 applications were submitted, and thereafter he got the BIL, that's a biometric instruction letter. Again, you cannot undergo biometric unless and until you have the biometric instruction letter from IRCC. That was on March 17, 2 days ago, and yesterday he got the AOR. Now he was able to link up the application the very same day, that is March 17, and medicals were also passed. So when I say medicals passed, it's the same medicals what you have submitted at case filing, it just get updated under your portal. Now from now on he should be able to get all the updates under his portal. So that is the benefit of linking up the application. Another timeline under IG stream, it's a French stream again. So he has applied on July 21st, and again biometric instruction letter, and he was able to link up the application on the very same day, that is January 20. After that, like within 4 days time, he got the AOR, and then there was a first PR portal, that is for the principal applicant on March 14th, and the second came actually 3 days later on March 17th for the spouse. After that, he got the ECO PR, that was actually yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm adding it here. And there was no ADR in this case, and there is also possibility that you might not be able to get the AOR. So AOR is not a mandatory step. In case if you don't get that, don't need to worry about that. You might just submit the documents and you would simply land to PR confirmation portal. I know it's kind of really good, but that is happening where you just submit your application, you won't get anything. You link up the application and thereafter you get the PR confirmation portal right away. So there is no flaw in the system. This is also very much usual. Now, stream B case, he has applied on July 2nd at 1:30 a.m. And if you remember, July 16th morning was the time when it reached to its cap, like stream B. So he got the BIL yesterday, like today only, biometric instruction letter, and he's not been able to link up the application yet. So that probably would take time. But when you receive BIL, it's like, your case is in process and it's going to get smooth. I'll just reiterate the process, how it actually works. When you submit the document, you have to wait for the TFN number. In case if you want that, you definitely need to call IRCC at 1-888-242-2100. It's a long waiting, but again, getting a TFN is not a mandatory step. If you want to skip that part, that's fine. Then you have to wait for the AOR. Again, TFN is not AOR, so don't confuse with that. With TFN, you should be able to raise a web form or submit any document whatsoever you think that it was not submitted at case filing. Most of the time, it will not be accepted, honestly speaking, because I have seen with a lot of cases where you raise a web form, again even after that, visa officer would ask you to redo those documents. So my recommendation, just wait for it. In case if it's something very important, like changing the status of your application, like you have applied as a single, now you are married, so you have to submit the spouse documents, or in case if you're blessed with a baby, then you have to submit all the documents, then definitely you can raise a web form. Otherwise, it's not recommended unless and until it's not asked. You don't have to do all that. If you want to do it, just do it. It's not going to harm the application. But yeah, why you want to invest so much of time and efforts in doing that? So this is one thing I really wanted to share with you guys. Another timeline is under stream B. Applied on June 24th, and the application was linked, and he saw the medical update, and then BIL was there on March 18th only. So you will get the BIL request for both principal applicant and spouse. In this case, there was no AOR, and yes, there was no TFN. TFN would not come right away to you. You have to call up IRCC to get that. Okay, this is another timeline of March 6th at 7:44 p.m. Pacific time zone. In this case, he has applied, you can see 7:44, which is like 10:44 Eastern time zone. So yeah, cases are picking up pretty fast now. I don't think that any application is now in first hour. They have actually reached to May 7th. So this is getting pretty fast, especially for IG stream here. In this case, he was able to link up the application, got the update on January 15, and then there was AOR was received. So if you see here that he got the ECOPR on March 18th. So it took him almost 2 months in getting the ECOPR from the date of receiving the AOR. So he got the first ADR for PCC. This was one of the reason, because now in this case, visa officer should have asked all the set of documents in one go. But now it's again, first ADR came like on February 14th. He took his time, submitted the document, and then there was a second ADR for income tax, like income proof and Schedule A. Then it was submitted, and then there were a couple of ghost updates. So ghost update, it's again a good sign that your documents are getting uploaded under your portal. And then he got the portal request that was on March 15th. So when you get portal request, it hardly takes like a day to maybe like 2 weeks time period. I haven't seen any case where it has reached beyond 2 weeks time from the stage of getting the portal request. So make sure you update your photograph and your latest address, because after getting the ECOPR, the PR card will be mailed to you. Also, when you receive the ECOPR, make sure you link up that to your GCK account, so that way you will be able to get the updates under your application. This is not a mandatory step, but yes, this is going to help you in making sure that where the when exactly IRCC has mailed your PR card and what's the progress under your file. So these kind of things can be updated immediately once you link up the file. Again, it's your choice. Okay, stream B case. He has applied on May 7th, and BIL was received on November 2nd, and there was an AOR was received on November 3rd itself. And the day after, the application was linked, and a couple of ADR came into his case. The reason being is that if you're traveling from more than one country, you need to submit the PCC, especially when you have resided in any country for more than 6 months. It's mandatory to submit the PCC from that country. So there was first PCC from Hong Kong, and it was on November 26th with Schedule A and NBI. Second ADR was from Taiwan, and that was on December 30th. So you can see that it took him almost like 1 month for a visa officer to ask for the second ADR, and then he emailed MP. You definitely can try doing that, but I don't find it sensible out here. Reason being is that your case is in process, so it will take its own time. There's no harm in trying it, but why do you want to get into all that stuff? Just wait patiently, and it will get through. In this case, he called up IRCC also on March 16th, which many of you are doing, and I wouldn't recommend that unless and until you're like too stressed out, or if it has crossed maybe 2 months, you've been waiting for the next response after receiving the AOR, ADR, or link up process. Okay, so in this case, there was a fortunate thing that he got the PR portal on the very same day where he called up IRCC to check his status, and then the PR portal credential came on March 17th, and yesterday only he was able to get the ECOPR. So this is all the timelines. Let's quickly dive into our FAQs today. So I'm going to cover three queries out here because most of you have the same queries time and again. The first one is out here. If you see here, any idea on what a letter of motivation should looks like for Quebec resident? I applied and they are requesting a letter of motivation showing my interest of living in Ontario. Thanks. So if you have applied under TR to PR pathway, one of the guideline is that you need to submit the intention of living outside Quebec. That's a mandatory requirement. You cannot skip that. In case if you have not submitted that letter, this is the right time. You can submit that. You can raise a web form. If you have already received the TFN and you were able to link up the application and you got the AOR, these are the three stages where you can raise a web form. I have explained the whole process in one of my videos, so you can always go and check that out. Second query, time and again, you have been asking. So the first question is that, like the second one is that my question is about rejection. Is there any rejection? Do they send something to your email? Thanks in advance. Okay. So honestly speaking, there have been rejection, and the reason of rejection was when you have applied under a wrong category. So that is the only one. Now I have already shared a couple of timelines in my previous videos. If you have applied under stream friend like stream IG stream under French category and it was by error, you can submit a web form and explain that it was by error and the application got through PR card, and I have explained that. And it was not one case, it was a couple of cases. So this is getting too positive, and not many of the rejection has happened under this category, very few, and the reason is very minimal here. So you definitely don't need to worry about that. Now, another question is regarding PCC. If it's more than 6 months older, as the process is going a bit slower. Yeah, I totally understand. If you have applied for police clearance certificate and submitted the same PCC at the time of case filing on May 6th or whatever the date you have applied for, by this time it will be expired because this holds the validity of 6 months. So you can certainly submit the same PCC if you have not traveled outside of Canada and just explain, this is the same PCC I have submitted, so I'm just kind of doing it again. Your application won't get rejected. There's also one more thing. If you have applied for PCC after file submission, you definitely have to apply for the new one and attach the confirmation receipt of the new one along with the old PCC so that visa officer knows that you have already tried to get the earlier one. It's just that processing time is taking a little more than 6 months time. So the person is trying and attempting to do for the new one. Again, if you're not able to apply for the second one, they have been like 80% of the cases got through. There was not even a single rejection where visa officer has rejected your case because the PCC was expired. But again, I wouldn't recommend you to take any kind of chance, especially at this point of time. I hope that makes sense. If you like this video, you can certainly subscribe to my channel and share with your friends and family, whosoever is in this category. I'll be coming up with more updates under TR to PR pathway and for Federal Skilled Worker Programs, PNP, CNC, as and when I get an update from that. Till then, take care and stay safe, guys. Bye.